Hey folks, it's Matt once again, and welcome back to another video for the Bill Paxton Marathon. And this time it is a solo fan commenter for a film I really do enjoy ever since I first saw it back in the day, and that's Twister. Now I was thinking on whether I should review the film again, but not, well, a year or two ago I reviewed it and loved the film, really enjoy the film. I'll put the link down to my review in the info box for those interested. And yeah, Twister is a film I've always enjoyed. I always thought it was a very fun popcorn movie. And again, like I said before, this is for the Bill Paxton Marathon. Figure sit down, watch Twister, fun popcorn movie from 1996. And to the extreme. Bill Harding, Bill Paxton's character. He is the extreme. And for those who have never seen the film, I don't know why you would be listening to me and people wanted a video commentary. So I will count down from 5 to 1, and when I say press play, you guys press play. I'm rewound to the beginning and paused at 0, 0, 0. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, pressing play. And we're at 6 seconds, 7, the Warner Bros. Logo and Stormy. Just so we're synced up, we're at 13 seconds, 14 seconds. And Warner Brothers and Universal Pictures present. So yeah, they decided to co-finance the film, as well as Steve Spielberg's company, Amblin Entertainment. And from what I understand, Warner Brothers got the North American distribution rights, while Universal got international. And I think, from what I understand, Spielberg had the concept and gave it to Michael Crichton, who wrote a script. And then some people like Joss Whedon did some rewrites on the film. And I always thought this was a beautifully shot flick. And love how the film looks. Being from Iowa, living in Iowa, even just a few days ago, we had a really bad storm. I think this is a film that I can really relate to as a natural disaster flick because living in Iowa, I don't have to worry about earthquakes. I don't have to worry about hurricanes. I don't have to worry about typhoons. But big storms, tornadoes, that's the thing around here to worry about. And there's not that many tornado films made, if you think about it. I know there was one with one of the guys from the Dukes of Hazzard. I think it was called Night of the Twisters. Might have been John Schneider in that. Vaguely remember it. I think there was one with Bruce Campbell and maybe Ernie Hudson called Tornado. I think that was a made-for-TV movie, like Night of the Twisters. I think they were both made for TV. As for big budget movies, the only one I can think of is Into the Storm, which came out a few years ago. Which I enjoy Into the Storm, but I would say yes, I prefer this more. And most people prefer Twister more. I mean, Into the Storm, most people would say is a lesser version, not so good version of Twister, but I enjoy both. Twister I like more, and I like the cast more. But Into the Storm, it was cool to see a newer tornado movie. And of course, I don't know why I should explain the film. You've seen the film already, or you're watching it now, but I always like this little build up, which most of this sequence was the first teaser of the flick. And I really enjoy the practical stuff, real trees falling down, real stuff being hit by lightning, but their effects, sparks. Nowadays, there'd be a CGI tree, it'd be CGI, a lot of stuff. There's a lot of practical work. I know people make fun of the effects of if I stop stuttering. Today, Junior, the tornadoes. I'm fine with the look of tornadoes considering it's 1996. I still enjoy the look of them. I still enjoy. I think they still look cool for a movie. It's a popcorn film. This older woman here, who's the mom, she's Rusty Schremer. And I recognize her because she was in Jason Goes to Hell as Joey B, who owned the sort of cafe, and Jason Voorhees elbowed her in the mouth, and her mouth got pushed in. That's Rusty Schremer. I thought this was a nice way to set up where, of course, this is Helen Hunt's character when she was a kid, and this event would mess with her throughout. And they have the dog that's almost like Toto from Wizard of Oz. Oh no, you did it. See, at least it wasn't like Man of Steel who just went, talk to the hand. Let me just get zipped up by this tornado. No, no, talk to the hand. No, it's like, let me hold this down to save my family. Talk to the hand. But yeah, Jan de Bont, who had made the film Speed. He was a director of photography for many movies, and his first directing gig, Speed, was a huge hit. Great film. Yeah, that looked. Trying to think. The. Oh, yeah, the weather satellite. I was trying to. National Severe Storm Laboratory. Sorry, down to the film. But yeah, Jan de Bont, Speed was a big hit. Great movie. And then people were like, oh, what's he going to do next? And the next film he was going to do was a Godzilla movie. He wanted to do a Godzilla film. And it would be Godzilla fighting some type of creature, monster. But they thought, I think these are really good looking tracking shots, and I think the score fits the film well. Beautiful looking shots of the landscape of the Oklahoma. Is it Oklahoma? Yeah, I think it's Oklahoma. Really great looking landscape shots. Nice work with the camera. I think Mark Mancina did a good job on the score. Fit the film very well. Bill Paxton. I've said this many times. I miss the guy. One of those times he got to star in a big summer movie, and I know he was always proud of this film. And I'm sure I remember hearing at one point he wanted to do a sequel, which would have been cool to see. That's a sequel I would have been very curious to see if he was the lead of the flick, but they'll never happen. I mean, I'm not. Twister is one of those movies that you don't need a sequel, but considering all the other sequels have been made, I'd be curious. Because again, like I said, there's not that many tornado movies. But Jan de Bont was doing a Godzilla film, and they said it'd be too expensive. So he said, okay, fine. Which is funny, the budget he wanted, they later gave to Roland Emmerich when he made his Godzilla film. It was pretty much the same budget, so go figure. And of course, this is Helen Hunt, which I've always liked Helen Hunt as Joe Harding. I thought she has a natural presence. I love these shots of the lightning and the clouds, and I think some beautiful photography. Another guy we lost, Philip Seymour Hoffman, very fun character. Not the type of character he would play, but that's what made it fun as Dusty. Alan Ruck, who was in Speed. Of course, he was in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. He keep calling me, it made me feel sorry. I'll go. God damn it! I always remember him from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. It was cool to see him in bits films like this and Speed before. But yeah, Godzilla wasn't made, so you go, this stream! Oh, it's the stream! Don't start that shit. I like these characters. I think they have a fun back and forth. They have a chemistry. It's group of characters with personality and fun and levity, and there's a sense of humor to it, and it makes it better for a popcorn entertainment film. Of course, the woman with Bill Paxton is Jami Gertz, who was in The Lost Boys. But I know I'm going all over over the place. But Helen Hunt, I've always enjoyed as an actress. I always liked her in films like As Good as It Gets, among others. I always thought she had a good presence to her, had a strength to her, just a talented actress. Jami Gertz, she does fine. I'll give more to her. That guy there with the glasses, that's, what was his name? I had it at the tip of my tongue. Scott Thompson, the guy who's the preacher guy. And I thought Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt worked very well together. And I thought it was a sort of a nice little touch where the typical thing is the woman wants a divorce and is hounding the man to sign the papers. And here they did a little thing where they did sort of a switch where it's the man trying to give the woman a divorce paper and she's the one holding on and doesn't want this to be real, and she doesn't sign the divorce papers and is holding it off. It's just little twists and little switches like that make it less typical. I appreciate. And that guy with the yellow State College Oklahoma shirt, that's Jeremy Davies, who has been in quite a few films. He was in Ravenous, I remember. He was in Saving Private Ryan. Been in quite a few other flicks. And but I think this film does look great on Blu-ray. I'll say that. It looks really good. Actually, I have it over here. It has a commentary with director Jan de Bont and visual effects supervisor Stefan Feinmeyer. Has a new featurette, Chasing the Storm, Twister Revisited, which has a few little nudges of information, Bill Paxton, and so forth. The History Channel doc on tornadoes, HBO First Look, The Making of Twister, Van Halen music video, Humans Being, theatrical trailers. So, would have liked a bit more on the documentary. I don't think Helen Hunt is interviewed. I don't think she had a great time making the film. Although I know when she said some very nice words about Bill Paxton, but I know at one point her and Bill Paxton, they were temporarily blinded because there were these lamps, bright electronic lamps used to get their exposure down to make the sky behind them look dark and stormy. And they got blinded by these things that pretty much sunburned their eyeballs, and they couldn't see for a while. So for a few days they had to wear these special glasses and take eye drops. Also, she was doing this stunt where she opened the door of a vehicle and was hit by the door on the side of her head. At one point, she might have gotten a concussion, so she didn't really have the best time making the film. That's probably why she doesn't talk about it too much. But I do think her and Bill Paxton, they did, when there was that ride, Twister ride, her and Bill Paxton were on the TV screens telling you a little bit about, tornadoes and so on and so forth. And you can find it on YouTube, the tornado ride. But I thought Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt, I thought they worked together. It was just great to see Paxton get a lead role in a fun popcorn movie. And Jami Gertz, her character, she's not a bitch. She's not, hey man, come on, come on, Bill. She's never a bitch. She's never nasty, or she's not made to be the villain, because at some point, of course, these two have to get together again by popcorn movie logic, which I'm fine with. And oh, so we can't let them feel too bad, so let's make the other girl a bitch. so that, oh yeah, leave the bitch, yeah. But they didn't do that. Like Jamie Gertz is actually not nasty, and even when it happens, she's afraid of the tornado stuff like anyone would, and she's sad because she was in love with Bill Paxton's character, but she even goes, just go ahead. But she's not nasty. She's not temper tantrums, even though she has every right to. But she's handled with as an actual human being, not as a stereotypical over the top nasty bitch. So I thought that was another nice little thing they did there. Of course, an ode to Wizard of Oz Dorothy. Phil Seymour Hoffman, he just has so much energy in this movie. Never really seen him play a character like this. And like I said, unfortunately, he's no longer with us as well. But easily one of my favorite Philip Seymour Hoffman roles. Just so much fun. A lot of fun in this in this movie. And I know people will complain about how unrealistic the film is. I don't know. I've never chased tornadoes, so how the hell would I know what would and wouldn't happen? And it's a fucking movie. Come on. I mean, if you make a real life movie about real life storm chasers and have to stick to reality, it's going to be a really boring film because they're looking for a tornado and then they're trying to get to one. And tornadoes, they'll last a little bit, but that's not. How do you make that work for a 90-minute to 2 hour running time? It's very hard to do. That's probably why you don't see a lot of tornado movies. But it doesn't bother me. I mean, again, I think it works perfectly fine. I never really had much of a problem with the logic of it. I think it's a well directed movie. It's a good looking film. Bill Paxton has a lot of charm and has a lot of energy, as well as Philip Seymour Hoffman. I think the crew they're with is has a fun personality to them. The movie goes at a pretty fast pace. And I know people go, "Oh, but how come so many tornadoes hit at the same time?" And I'm thinking, well, they're explaining the movie. So many tornadoes hit. How do you know an event like that won't happen? I mean, even today, I hear about how this big 7 point something earthquake might hit the West Coast. And that's not nothing. There's a lot of movies that break down the logic to fucking Star Wars, for fuck's sake. Yeah, I mean, every movie you can. I pick apart a lot of movies because at the end of the day, they're movies that did not entertain me. Obviously, if this film didn't entertain you, then you're more than willing to pick your apart. It's like, who gives a shit? I don't like it. If I don't like a film, I'll pick your apart because fuck yeah, I'm not going to respect a movie I don't like. See, because at the end of the day, I just want a movie to entertain me. To entertain me. Yeah, if it makes me think and feel, cool too, but I just want to be entertained. And you have Alan Ruck, who is the map guy. Bill Paxton taking his new truck out and is going to be fucked up by the end of the day. And see, Jamie Gertz, she's not being mean. She's like, hey, this is interesting. I'm going to tag along. She's not nagging. She's like, oh, be fucking idiot. Of course, we got Cary Elwes. He was the asshole in, what was that movie? Hot Shots. He's the villain tornado chasers, which I like. I like the idea. Cary Elwes plays it very well. And I like the interaction that he has with Bill Paxton. Didn't when you look up Cary Elwes, he had some nice things to say about Bill Paxton. Seems like so many people had so many nice things to say that no one has a bad word to say about Bill Paxton, and that's what's sad about him being gone, because there's so many fucking dirtbag assholes that could be. Fucking Victor Salva, a guy who molested a kid in his first film, Clown House, was getting ready to direct Jeepers Creepers 3, and got a slap on the wrist by. He filmed and sexually molested a kid who was the star of his first film, Clown House, got jobs to direct Jeepers Creepers 1 and 2, now he's getting ready to do 3. When he got in jail, he got a slap on the wrist in like a couple months, or maybe 9 months or 11 months. Fucking Wesley Snipes served triple that just for taxes, and yet he's still around. But we have to lose Bill Paxton. It's just not fair, man. People will be pissed that I said that, but I'm being honest, it's not fucking fair. And yeah, we saw that Cary Elwes is an asshole, pushed him off the road. Has Diaz trot fixed. And then realized that Cary Elwes stole Bill Paxton's program. The idea of this whole thing where all these electronic sensors get thrust up in order to collect data. And Paxton realizes that his initial idea has been stolen. And this is what I'm talking about. I like the interaction between him and Cary Elwes here. So we're getting ready for a fight. Yes. Stowe's design. And Cary Elwes, I always enjoyed him as an actor ever since seeing him in The Princess Bride, the first Saw film, Robin Hood Men in Tights. I love this line. They ain't worth shit! Yeah. I just love that delivery, Bill Paxton. Unrealized. Well, they ain't worth shit. I always love that. It has some fun lines of dialogue, too. I like this one coming up. The days of sniffing the dirt are over. And then this next one. Better than what you sniff. I don't know what character said that, but that was pretty funny. It's better than what you sniff. And making fun of the fact that Paxton's character, who was really gung-ho with this project with Helen Hunt, now he's accepting a job as a weatherman. Which Helen Hunt's like, come on, you're better than that. You're better than just a weatherman. But I think these two work well together. I think they're strong in the film. I think they're not weak. They have personality. They have a strong presence. They're not wooden. They're not a stick in the mud. They're not a fucking cardboard cutout. That's what I mean. Just because you're making a popcorn film, you can't forget the fact that you need some. You can't just put it all together as lazy as can be. Wait, okay, if it have in Oklahoma, have some nice shots. They're outside. It's not a fucking green screen. Nowadays, it'd just be a green screen where Bill Paxton stand in the middle of a fucking green screen. No, let's have some fucking. If they did do that, then they did a really great job. I didn't notice, but I know one time they mentioned how they try to follow the weather to try to shoot as. You have some shoot many of the film's scenes in bright sunlight when they could not get overcast skies, and asked ILM to more than double his original plan for some digital sky replacement shots. And some of them look pretty damn good. The budget was at 1.70 million, but then some last minute reshoots to clarify scene about Helen Hunt's character as a child, and overtime requirements and post production ILM raised the budget to 90 million. And when it came out, it was a huge hit in May. It was one of the big hits of the summer. Yeah, Twister, and then after that you had Independence Day. And Jan de Bont after this, I don't know what happens. Because Speed and Twister are a great 1-2 punch. Then he did Speed 2, and that sucked. He did The Haunting, and that sucked. And then he did Lara Croft 2, The Cradle of Life, and that sucked. So I don't know what the fuck happened with Jan de Bont. He did 2 fun popcorn movies, and then shitty sequel, shitty haunted house movie, and another shitty sequel. And again, Jamie Gertz, she's not being a bitch, but she's like, I'm not gonna let you trample over me, but you know, she's just telling her straight up, and I like that they didn't make her just a stereotypical, oh, we got haters to do this. And again, it sounds stupid, but there's not many movies where usually it's the guy who has to sort of, oh no, I gotta hold on. Oh, please don't leave me. And they did this sort of little twist where it's the woman. Why is that a big deal? Because it's nice seeing some little difference from the stereotypical notions of a screenplay that I guess maybe no one else will notice or give a shit, but I do. Not that I'm like, oh, only me. No, I'm just stuff that I notice and like. And I think, unfortunately, because we're in this realm where a lot of, not all the time, but a lot of times they try to make popcorn films be as serious as possible. Again, I say sometimes. That a lot of them miss the fun out of what a popcorn movie could be because then, well, we don't want to get made fun of later, like these films tend to do. And I'm like, then that's their problem, not mine. I enjoy these movies thoroughly. They're supposed to be fun. And a lot of times it seems like the fun is sucked out of movies. Oh yeah, Philip Seymour Hoffman, let him just blast some music out, some old rock and roll, and suck it on a straw that's hooked to it, and this little dialogue. They have CB radio talking to each other. You have the other guy listen to orchestral music. Jamie Gertz, her character, I forget what it is. Like she's a sex doctor or relationship counselor. I forget what it is. I don't know if she's supposed to be like Dr. Ruth or something of that nature. I can't exactly remember. But all the outside shots I like. I think they did a lot of it outside and out in the not just stuck in a green screen for most of the shoot, which I appreciate that. You get some nice landscapes. And I think even the campaign worked well. The posters were simple to the point. The title, simple but perfect title for it. Nice to get some Van Halen in there, like at the end of the film. Humans be shine on, shine on. And I like their back and forth with each other. I think these two have chemistry with each other. I think they're fun, back and forth, because they are the bickering couple. They are, but I just see some chemistry. I see some qualities that don't make either character unlikable. That don't make jerks or assholes or just people that you don't want to be around. So Helen Hunt is a great actress. I mean, I think she even won an Oscar for As Good as It Gets. Bill Paxton should have been a lot more movies, a lot bigger movies. He's that talented of a guy. And yeah, this movie made about $241 million in the US and $494 million worldwide. He's not paying enough attention. He's going right off the road. And it has that natural color too. It has a natural color, and someone actually mentioned, because I had done a counter before, as to why so many films look so fucking fake. And I actually have to look that up now. I have to go back. I know there's a guy named Vaughn Fry who had mentioned it on my Predator 2 commentary. I'm trying to find that. I know her name. Yes, I'm happy with Melissa. And twisters, even when you look at them in documentary footage, they still almost seem unreal. Not in a derogatory way, but I've been in Iowa. I live in Iowa, so I know what twisters are like and what they look like. I don't think these for 1996 special effects, I think they look fine. I think they look perfectly fine. I never was on that fuck the effects, fuck twister thing that people are on. I don't get it. I'm trying to find this damn thing. And Cary Elwes, the slime ball, doesn't want to think of stuff for himself. Just want to steal anything from Bill Paxton's character. So I like that shot of the twister. I think that looks perfectly fine. I mean, so what? They're going to do a CGI. It's still not going to look real because it's not real unless you don't go out and film a real twister and try to interject into a film. I don't. I think the twister looks perfectly fucking fine, man. Oh, here it is. He said, today's movies look like shit because of something called DI, digital intermediate, and digital color correction. The chips in the cameras don't capture enough data while reading the lighting, so they actually shoot it in a highly desaturated format, so they have to be adjusted in post, resulting in a highly unrealistic look most of the time. Which, then that sucks, because maybe they should make some better fucking cameras that can do that. They don't give a shit. Oh, well, we'll have all control of the color and then look fucking unreal. Shot that you see in all the trailers where it takes care of that. I think that stuff looks fine. I mean, for 1996 special effects, I've seen many other movies where the effects don't hold up as well. I think I still enjoy them. You're never going to make that look 100% real. I'm sorry, even with today's effects. A twister's gonna look like this spinning thing, and you'll have a bunch of shit around it. And again, you do watch documentary footage, and even then, it's like it's almost an unreal looking event. And it's all those that they put under the wind against the actors' faces and hair. They put some little debris in there to coincide it with the sequence. And it's just one of the many different physical dealings that they deal with the twister. And I'm sorry, making the film realistic would make it a boring fucking movie because one twister would go down, and then they have to fucking wait till a couple days or couple weeks or couple months, or that would be fucking boring. Which that's another thing. People, again, there are movies that are unrealistic. Don't get me wrong, but there are movies that think they're so fucking serious, like they're Oscar caliber, but then when they're not, they're the ones that are more laughable. Like some of those later Transformer movies. Like Dark of the Moon is so dark because there's dark in the title. Yeah, it's about as dark as my fucking underwear. And yes, I have pristine, clean underwear. White underoos. No, not really. I don't wear underwear. Too much information. Let's get rid of the underwear talk. Who gives a shit? I'm not going to really tell what I wear. It's not your fucking problem. Almost hits her right in the face. And look, they dropped a real truck. Was it a CGI truck? Was it a cartoon truck? It was a real truck. And Phil Seymour Hoffman once again. You almost hit that. It's awesome. It's just awesome. Oh, she's missed the truck. It's so awesome. Just a really energetic performance this character has. And this movie goes at a good pace. I don't think it's that boring. It's not too long. It's a good length for it. So it gets a 6.3 in IMDb, which I think could be a bit higher. It was windy. Windy, huh? Oh, that's intense. Oh, that's intense. There's Cary Elwes, the asshole. And this guy's trying to help out. Like, maybe we should help, but Cary Elwes is just fucking dick. Phil Seymour Hoffman. Yo, give me a kiss, man. Come on, give me a kiss. Just fucking with them. Loser! Losers! Move on! Oh, apparently this was the first movie released on DVD and the last released on HD DVD. Huh. I didn't know this was the first movie released on DVD. It's pretty cool if that's the case. I mean, just because it's IMDb doesn't mean it's true, but I love it. It's just the notion that he's going to use his brand new truck. He just Paxton's no way. Just that big grin on his face. And of course, yep, we're going to do it. And that works when you have really likable actors that have a charm and personality to them. I'm looking up some info on the trivia if you wonder what I'm doing. But I do remember this. Trailers contain a shot not in the film, a truck tire hurtling towards the viewer. This was supposedly one of the test shots that was created during pre-production to prove that CGI was capable of executing the effect scenes with a necessary level of realism. And I do remember that shot being a lot of the trailers. But I like these wide spanning shots. Like we go over their crew, and in the same shot we go in the Cary Elwes crew, and then you have a tornado in the background. That's some good looking shots. That's some good expansive shots. And this day and age of cut, editing schizophrenically, and even when they do that, it's like they do this zoom, edit up your ass with a fucking knots and twists and there's some fucking dental floss and flossing on your ass. It's nice to see actual wide shots so I can see the whole thing. It's nice. Says here Tom Hanks was the original choice for the role. He briefly accepted the role of Red Lines with the cast before dropping out, and that Kurt Russell was also considered for the role. Yeah, I don't know if that's true. I'm just reading off of IMDb. Laura Dern was considered for the role of Dr. Joe Harding, probably because Jurassic Park, but I'm glad Helen Hunt got it. I like Laura Dern, but I think Helen Hunt, she worked fine in this. More than fine. I really enjoyed her in this. I just at one point Helen had an audition for the role of Ellie in Jurassic Park, weirdly enough. And throughout the film, we get this sort of thing that Bill Paxton's character has an intuition. Earlier on, when it says the dirt flying through his fingers, here, kind of see where the tornado is going to turn and where they need to go. Get a little bit with the character that he is knowledgeable at this. That he's not some rookie or anything. But that's what I want to see in movies. Okay, yeah, let's have a movie where in this one really bad day, long day, like these tornadoes keep popping up, and it's them trying to chase these guys down. If it's just them, all this one. If it was realistic, the whole movie would be them building up and building up and building up to chase one twister at the end of the film. One twister that maybe will destroy this and destroy that, and I don't really know if that would be the most exciting movie, to be honest. And it's a popcorn movie, it's not a documentary. I'm fine with it. If it's done well, I'll accept bullshit. When it's done not done well, then I'll tell you to kiss my ass. I'm sorry, you look at movies nowadays. I think about last summer. What, Ghostbusters? Where there's a fucking pussy fart joke in 15 minutes? Batman v Superman, Dawn of Butt Sex, where everything's so super, super, super serious. And everyone's a fucking asshole in that movie. Everyone. Everyone's an asshole. Independence Day regurgitation. That piece of shit sequel. That's a shitty movie. That's a shitty popcorn movie. And like you did sort of different little types of tornadoes. Like you had a sort of typical tornado. Here you got smaller type of tornadoes that don't twist their car around, and now you got two of them. At the end, you got the big motherfucker tornado, the F5, not the fucking Brock Lesnar F5, but different one. And I think he made a really good looking movie as well, Jan de Bont and his crew. Of course, the famous cow scene. Well, yeah, I mean, nowadays you tell it's CGI, but it's not like they're going to use a real cow for it. It's goofy. It's laugh at Jamie Gertz's reaction. Like, and then before, I gotta talk about we got cows. It's goofy, but it's one of those. It's goofy, but it did make me laugh. It made me. It's definitely a scene people remember to this day. Even if you hate the film, they remember the cow. Just how fucked up it would be. You'd be in the middle of this, just being twisted around like a bottle. I mean, it'd be a hell of an experience. And it dissipates. I like how excited they are. And of course, it makes sense. They've studied this thing. They're more gun ho about it. They're more interested about it. Wow, it makes sense that she's freaked out about it. And lo and behold, characters exhibiting joy, exhibiting smiles, exhibiting wonder, exhibiting excitement. Not, yeah, I'm bored. My name is Superman. Even though I'm Superman, I can't smile because I'm pulling this big fucking boat. Oh man, poor me, I'm pulling this boat. And I'm just watching this flood, so people are going to drown, even though they put an S on the fucking roof. I'm just going to watch so we can get the beauty shot because I'm Space Jesus. If people like the film, that's fine. I don't. Just like people made fun of this movie, if that's the case, then I can make fun of a film like fucking Batman v Superman or fucking Suicide Squad. Food. 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 Don't be a group of characters that actually have a personality and seem like a family. They seem like they enjoy each other's company and like each other, and there's a history there. I like that. And yeah, this is Lois Smith as Aunt May. I thought she did a great job. And she's been in quite a few films, quite a few movies. I'm trying to see which ones. She was in Five Easy Pieces with Jack Nicholson. Oh, she was in Falling Down. I think she played the mother of Michael Douglas's character in Falling Down. She was in, I believe, Fatal Attraction. Oh, she was in Minority Report. I think she does a great job. She seems like a very likable person, fun aunt. And hell, like I said with Aliens, you have to like the movie even when the aliens are not on screen. Here, I like the movie even when there's no tornadoes on screen because this is a. I can differentiate each person. They have different looks, different personalities, different tones in their voice, dialogue that's not just moving the plot, it's just dialogue to have fun with the characters. Now, where'd you do all this beef? You see any cows out there? No. Oh. We'll say that beef looks pretty damn good right now. And sorry if I'm not speaking too much. It's just it's one of those movies that in a way kind of speaks for yourself. If you're type of guy that has fun with movies like this and be entertained by it, and I sincerely think it's a good film. Then, if you don't, then you're probably not watching this anyway. And it's hard talking for, it's going to be 2 hours by yourself. He'll rue the day. Rue the day team up with Gets the Extreme. Oh, this is always one of my favorite parts where they're talking about this old story, the Bill Paxton, and why they call him the Extreme. Because Billy is the Extreme. Yes, he certainly was. Oh, I always enjoy the story they tell here. Like I said, it's one of my favorite parts of the movie. This loser stumbles out of the car. He's got Power Jack Daniels. He's naked. He's butt naked. I wasn't naked. I was not naked. He's without apparel. I was half naked. No, he was naked. So he's yelling me out of the way. He just strolls up to the twister, says, "Have a drink," and throws it. Chucks the bottle into the twister. Never hits the ground. And the twister caught it, sucked it right up. This is a tissue of lies, honey. See, there was another Bill, an evil Bill, and I killed him. See, scenes like that are why I enjoy this movie. Characters are smiling, they act like a family. That story had nothing to do with a plot point that's coming up afterward or dealing with the end of the film. It's a fun story of showing these characters interacting and having fun. You know, when they did those new Ninja Turtle movies, I would rather have stuff like that. Not, oh, we got fucking ending of Amazing Spider-Man that they ripped off and all this other horse shit. Have scenes like that. Just telling stories, just having fun. Even the first Ninja Turtles movie did that when Mikey's just doing his impressions, just making them laugh, and that's what you need, moments like that. That's not just pushing exposition. That's not just pushing story. You could do that. For example, here in F5, they're telling her, so as it reflects to the beginning of the film, what happened with her family, to the end of the film where we'll see in F5. But you also have dialogue that makes the characters more human, more relatable, fun group of characters. And in a way, these are blue collar characters. They're not proper prim suits, and most of them are not models that you would see in GQ or the WB network when that was a thing. I think that's why a lot of movies miss nowadays. I don't think we'll ever see it back because most people don't think that's a problem, and most people don't like movies like this. They don't like movies a la Twister and Independence Day. They may laugh money at the time, but they just go, that was the time frame. That's what they were back then. Nowadays, we don't do that. We gotta be more serious. We gotta be more. I don't know how you put it. They would call these films cheesy, corny, campy, which I hate that word cheesy. I always did. I mean, sadly, one of those movies that elicits that fun is a lot of the Fast and Furious movies. I mean, I was not the biggest fan of Fast and Furious 7, but Fast 5 and Fast 6, I enjoy those two. They were popcorn films. I enjoy quite a bit of the cast, like The Rock, Vin Diesel, Paul Walker, Tyrese. It has that sort of fun popcorn element. I mean, Part 7 just, I didn't hate parts Fast and Furious 7, but I think it could have been better. But that's because they got fucked up because of Paul Walker's passing. I think that really did fuck up the film. It was worse that he passed away because I really liked Paul Walker. But I'm just saying for the film itself, that is going to screw you up. But yeah, X-Men Apocalypse, I didn't care for. Think of last summer. I mean, Central Intelligence, I had fun with. I'll admit. Warcraft, I didn't see. Independence Day Resurgence, it did that poorly. Ghostbusters, that can suck that that movie can suck my ass. If I had a way, I would do a ranting commentary on Ghostbusters, but I'm not fucking buying that film, so fuck that. That anyway, fuck it. Yoda hosers, that sucked. Jason Bourne's, eh, I didn't see it honestly. So, yeah, sorry I'm being so silent. 1996, that was a good year for films. That was one where, let's see, 83. I was about 13 years old, 12 or 13 when this film came out. Reaper when you into tense situations, Belzer. I didn't get the rest. There was more dialogue before that. I actually like that piece of dialogue. You're getting out of situations, but Reaper men get into situations, Belzer. And I swear that's a quote from Repo Man. Like they did do a quote from the 1984 film Repo Man when they did that. I swear that's the case. I could be wrong, but I swear. Because I swear there was the quote of, an ordinary person spends his life avoiding tense situations, but a Repo Man spends his life getting into tense situations. I'm like, did they reference Repo Man from, back in the day? Was that on purpose? I have to think it was, and if so, that's pretty cool. You reference a film like Emilio Estevez's Repo Man, which I enjoy that movie with Harry Dean Stanton. That's a good film. But even that shot there is showing the landscape, the green, luscious landscape, and the vehicles on the road. You don't see a lot of movies in that sort of area. I mean, nowadays it'll be New York, LA, but there's like a big country in the middle that a lot of times do not get utilized. At least in big budget movies, I should say. But I was talking about 1996. I mean, the top 10 films. Independence Day, very fun movie. Twister was number 2. Love this movie. Mission Impossible, I enjoyed the first one. It's one of my favorite Mission Impossible movies. The Rock, one of Michael Bay's best films. Hunchback of Notre Dame, I actually haven't seen from Disney. 101 Dalmatians, haven't seen forever. Ransom, pretty decent thriller with Mel Gibson. Night Professor, yeah, I was more a fan of the Eddie Murphy of, older. Jerry Maguire, I like that film. Eraser, very fun Arnold movie. One of the last, like, pure popcorn Schwarzenegger films. But yeah, I mean, if I go through 1996, From Dusk Till Dawn, great vampire movie. Black Sheep, love that movie with Chris Farley and David Spade. Broken Arrow, I did a review for that film, and I love Broken Arrow. Sincerely love it. Happy Gilmore, my favorite Adam Sandler film. I'm not going to go through every single one, but The Birdcage, fun film, Robin Williams. I like Fargo. I don't love it, but I like Fargo. Yeah, I'm not going to go through every movie. The Substitute, good movie with Tom Berenger. Mission Impossible, The Arrival, great flick with Charlie Sheen. Cable Guy, very funny movie with Jim Carrey, Matthew Broderick. Phenomenon, I think that's a good drama with John Travolta. Courage Under Fire, another drama I enjoyed. The Frighteners, to me, the last great Peter Jackson flick, to be perfectly honest. Michael J. Fox, underrated movie. Time to Kill, that's another good drama. Chain Reaction, I've warmed up a little bit to that. It's not that bad. Bulletproof, underrated Adam Sandler film. Maximum Risk, when I reviewed all the Van Damme films in my marathon, talked about how I do enjoy Maximum Risk. I think that's a solid flick. Last Man Standing, I think one of the more underrated Bruce Willis films. Extreme Measures, Hugh Jackman, not Hugh Jackman. I think it's Hugh Grant's best movie. Well, let me put it this way. I think it's my favorite Hugh Grant film because it's the film that you have to be different. You have to be in the thriller with Gene Hackman. The Glimmer Man, when I did my Steven Spielberg marathon, I talked about how much I enjoyed The Glimmer Man. Longest Good Night, one of the last great Rennie Harlan films. Larger Than Life, underrated film with Bill Murray. Space Jam, I enjoy that film. Jingle All the Way, I think that's a very funny comedy with Schwarzenegger. Daylight, I think that's a very underrated Stallone movie. Scream, Beavis and Bud Do America, both films I enjoy. The People versus Larry Flint, I enjoy that film. I like that Star Wars reference. That's a space station. That's no moon. That's no moon. That's a space station. And yeah, they go through multiple. And each tornado sequence is different. One's in a ditch where they gotta hide. One is two little smaller twisters that get turned around here. They have to deal with hail. They have to deal with all this stuff on them. Like with each tornado sequence, they do a little bit of a twist. They do a little bit of a to keep the not momentum, but to keep it so that it's not just the same scene over and over and over again. That's what I'm saying. So is that just the same thing redone? But yeah, when I looked through 1996, I think it was a pretty damn good year for movies. Again, there are others I could mention. Tin Cup, I think, is a good one. Multiplicity, I don't hate. Sorry, I know I'm not talking much about the film. I'm just talking about sort of the year that it came out, sort of paint the picture of what the films were out at that time. I mean, again, the bid films, the day this came out, after that you had Flipper, you had Mission Impossible, you had Dragging Heart, you had The Phantom, you had The Rock, The Cable Guy, Eraser, Hunchback of Notre Dame, The Midnight Professor, Independence Day, Phenomenon, The Frighteners, Time to Kill, and so forth. And just hang out by the telephone pole. Your balls are on the floor. Get your balls off the floor. They're getting dirty. Clean those balls up and get them in the sky. Pick your balls up, sir. But I mean, you could tell this was definitely a physically demanding shoot for the actors, but I thought they pulled it off. And yeah, I apologize for the moments of silence. It just I didn't work around the movie, so I can't really think of much about the making of the film. And how many times can I say the exact same thing over and over again? That's why I wasn't sure if I should re-review the film because I've already reviewed the film. But I figure, well, yeah, I'll do a fan commentary on it. And I like the aspect where she's so gun ho and she's so obsessed with this. because of what happened to her dad and what happened to her as a kid. But Paxton's character, he's the more sensible one. And maybe this is part of the reason why they were getting a divorce. This sort of friction because of this, where she could not deal with the death of her father. I mean, he even says there, you're obsessed. I think these two worked very well together. I know I've said that, but I think it bears repeating. That's why I don't get the massive hate this film gets. The massive vitriol this film gets. I really don't get it. And that's where she overhears the truth about, maybe he was saying it to cheer her up, but you tell that there's some love still there. And that's where Jami Gertz sort of realizes, yeah, this isn't going to work out. She even says later on, I can't compete with this. But again, you could easily have written her to be annoying, irritating, aggravating, one note bitchy, nagging, slapping, punching. I'm going to do this to you. I'm going to get revenge. They don't do that. Or, they could have done, oh, she dies somehow. She gets killed off. She got killed off during the. Somehow, some way, some form, she got killed off. But I'm glad they didn't do that. I'm glad they didn't go that route. They didn't do that. Did not do that at all. And I think that's perfectly fine. And I'm trying to look for some other info on this movie to sort of course, because it's a Warner Bros. Production, you're able to get some actual footage from The Shining. So it was cool to see The Shining get a cameo in this. And a drive-in too. That's something you don't see a lot nowadays. So it's cool that a big budget movie has a drive-in. And they're showing The Shining and Psycho because Warner Brothers and Universal worked on this. So did Universal movie Psycho? Did Warner Brothers movie The Shining? This is what Helen Hunt had to say after Bill Paxton passed away. He made this movie great. He acted his heart out. What a talented man. My thoughts are with his family. And yeah, a lot of people. I mean, from Rob Lowe to Jordan Peele to even Elijah Wood, William Shatner, Charlize Theron, who worked with him on Mighty Joe Young. There's a lot of people. Tom Hanks, James Cameron, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jamie Lee Curtis. A lot of people coming out to just say how sad they are, and yeah. Here's an article: 7 things you did not know about Twister. Steven Spielberg sent Garth Brooks the script for Twister, but Garth Brooks passed on the film, saying that the star of the film was the tornado, and Garth Brooks wanted to be the star. First off, thank God he passed, because Garth Brooks is an actor. Come on. Second, you're saying no to Steven Spielberg and being in a Spielberg movie? Even a film he's associated with? You're a fucking moron, Garth Brooks. But you know what? Actually, you're right. I'm glad you passed. because you would ruin the fucking film. I don't care what part it was, you would have been bad in it. When the production staff were scouting for filming locations, they stumbled the small town of Wakita and knew they'd hit the jackpot. The town had been ravaged by a hailstorm in 1993 that left most of the homes in ruins. The Twister people needed a lot of debris for the film and offered to tear down the damaged homes. It was a win-win. And director Jan de Bont was not popular on the set. More than 20 crew members walked off the set after de Bont pushed a camera assistant into the mud after he got in the way of a complicated shot. Jan de Bont told EW, with the wind machines, it was very loud, so the crew had to watch my hand signals. I cued action, and he walked right in the middle of the scene. We kept losing to performances because of stupid things like that. I don't think I'm a hothead, but I do believe you have to be passionate. These crews do pay well, and when they screw up, I'm going to call them on it. And I remember some crew members actually left the production and said, fuck this. And this is one of my favorite scenes where the tornado hits the drive-through, just the total destruction, and you get some really good practical effects happening here as well. Um, Easily for one of my favorite action sequences in the movie. Again, there's a lot of action in this film. There are many movies that it's a 2 hour film, you only get about 5 minutes of action. Here, it's very consistent. Jamie Gertz gave an interview about how the cast were embarrassed by Oprah Winfrey. They were invited to talk about the film. We came out individually and we were talking about how tough the shoot was. We would get debris in our eyes from the wind machines. We'd have to use the eye wash. Sometimes we were in the makeup trailer. We'd have to turn off the electricity because we were close to an electrical storm. We didn't want to get electrocuted. Then she breaks for commercials, comes back and says, and now for survivors are real twisters. So here are all these actors, these dopey actors on stage, and now we have these people who are like, I was burned and lightning hit me. And we're like, no, that didn't happen to us. So it was just humiliating. Here are these real survivors of twisters, and we're just the movie version. So, because Oprah was trying to be what, fucking Jerry Springer? Bill Paxton wanted to make a sequel. Here you go. Speaking in 2012, the actor revealed that he had a rough storyline in mind for a potential Twister follow-up. I'd love to direct a sequel to that movie. I like that because he directed Frailty, and that was a really good film. I wanted to do a tougher version of that film. Trying to design so that me and Helen Hunt would have a daughter, a junior in high school. She's already dating a guy in college. We're kind of handed off to them. There's a great story of the tri-state tornado I like to tie into as well. Sort of a tougher version of Twister. I'm not sure about handing it off to someone else. You guys could still do it, but yeah, he wanted to do a sequel and even thought maybe he'd direct it, but never happened. Just no one's crying out for tornado movies. Into the Storm flopped. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is some really good practical stuff, real danger for the actors. Stuff being blown off, stuff we're going to see crashing into this facility. And yeah, when you live in Iowa or somewhere in the Midwest, these are elements that you are a bit freaked about. Moments like this, tornadoes. I love that shot. And just gets a cut right there. And that's all you need. Not fingers cut off, just this cut right there, and it's like, ugh, that's gotta hurt. That's gotta be painful, that big cut along there. Look, they took a real fucking car and threw it right into the building. And a real truck that's ready to fall on them. And these rigs and hydraulics and such making all this happen. And a real sign falling down and real sparks on the actors and a real fucking sign of the drive-through going into them and crashing almost near the actors. Nowadays, that'd be all CGI. It would look like a fucking cartoon. But that's why I think this film holds up, because of all this real stuff going on and hitting into it. And I did like the idea before we passed it, where the tornado sucked up the drive, and right when John Nicholson goes, "Here's Johnny," which, granted, I've seen The Shining many times. I'm thinking, wait a minute, that scene would have been much later. There'd be much more of a time between the little kid seeing the two uh, weird, creepy twins and then him going, "Here's Johnny." There's about, what, like 30 minutes or so gap in between it, or an hour gap. So, hey, did they show him like a short version of that movie? See, come on, I know where, come on. So, that's like one of those little nothing nitpicks. Like, wait a minute, there wouldn't be at that scene yet. They've only been talking for like 2 minutes. And then the other scene's another like 3 minutes. So, yeah. But yeah, even when I was growing up, I lived on a farm in the middle of nowhere, and that'd be the freakiest times when all this rain is bearing down, and because you're in a in the middle of nowhere, you're wondering if this tornado is just going to come by and suck you up or such. Although it never really got near us to that point where we saw anything, so we were lucky on that. But there would be tornado warnings and so forth. Yeah, and this is where it's going to hit her hometown and where her aunt lives. There's a point where she says goodbye. Here I'm now saying obvious shit, just as if you don't have eyes and know what's going on. But I thought this was handled respectfully enough. Again, she's not being mean. She's not being rude. She's not being nasty. She's not being nagging. Sorry, my nose itches. She's being reasonable. See, all this talk when the new Ghostbusters, oh, we don't. This is writing a female character well, without a fucking agenda. Hey, you didn't write her to be a stereotypical nasty woman. She's written like a human being. She walks away respectfully. You tell she's still sad about it. She's not fucking stippity doo dah stippity day, but you know, she knows the situation, and See, that's what I mean. I think there's some stuff that everyone always talks about how shitty the script is, but I think there's some good. I think there's a lot of good stuff in there. And yeah, this place really looks like a shitstorm. And that's the thing I hate nowadays is that even if the whole thing's not CGI, they would do these CGI enhancements, which isn't needed. You don't need CGI enhancements. It's one thing if you're doing it to eliminate wires or so forth, but oh, you know what? Yeah, there's that one little bit of fire by the house, but let's add in some 3 or 4 bits of CGI fire. And then when you watch, you go, oh, I know. Even if it's like, oh, I hate the film because of that one scene. No, it's your peripheral vision. Oh, I noticed that. Well, you noticed that. Now I'm taking out of the movie. Here, I'm just centered on the scene of the destruction, trying to get their family member out, the dog out. One of those things where the dog is put into some type of situation. Like Independence Day, when the dog jumps out of the fireball, you have the that one bit in Volcano when the dog is running out of the little doggy door and the with the not the doggy door, but the lava's coming through the door and the dog like gets his toy and jumps out and I forget what was the movie that if it was the Blob remake from 1988, the Twister would be sucking up little kids just like the Blob would do. And if you do, I didn't mention this before, but if you heard background noise, it's because I have the equipment on and I have the heater running because there's been pretty chilly lately. So I should have said that before, but if so, I apologize. That's a strong cable for the TV. Nope, never mind. Fucking TV's falling on our heads. Look at that. They took a real house and people are like, well, what's the big deal of that? Because they actually, I mean, nowadays that'd be a CG house and do all that. They actually built all this. And like, this is a big film. Like, this is a big movie. And it did not, it cost less than $100 million. Less than $100 million. Because you did not have big actors that cost $20 million a piece and didn't have to do all this other horse shit. The money is on the screen. And I know this is unfair, and this is nothing against people who work in CGI houses. You know, I wouldn't know how to do that, so I wouldn't know jack shit about it. It's just, I, not all, but I do think there are some people that are, not even people, I shouldn't even say that, because they're hired for a job. It just seems Hollywood in general are lazier than before. And this is not against, even against the CGI artists are not the problem. They're only there when there's a demand for it. There's a demand for them, so thus they're going to do a job to support their families. It's these higher ups which let's not build actual models, let's not build actual sets, let's not build actual stuff. And hell, this has CGI with the tornadoes, which makes sense. I don't know how else you could do that. But the other stuff, mixed in with a lot of practical effects work, I think Hollywood seems like it's getting lazier because, well, instead of making an actual squib to put on someone, and then people could go, well, that's safety measures. But I'm thinking there are hundreds of direct-to-video films that had squibs on people. Now all of a sudden, what about all those people and all those hundreds of direct-to-video films? Their safety didn't matter. But oh, now safety does matter, just out of the blue. Really? That's your reasoning? If you have blood, get some fucking makeup and get some fucking squibs. If you have fire, get some fucking real fire in there. Don't do CGI enhancements. Know what you're doing at that time of day. Fucking plan it beforehand and then put it there. Build shit. Work out there in the dirt, in the rain, in the sweat, and the tears, and the blood. So that's supposed to be fucking easy. If it was easy, then everyone would fucking make movies. I think that's a problem nowadays. It seems like anyone who thinks they can make a movie do. So you get a lot more shit. I know I would suck at making movies, thus I would take myself out of the equation. Because there's enough people who think they know what they're doing, but they don't. We have too many assholes who think they can make good movies and they fuck it up. They don't know what the fuck they're doing, even for a popcorn movie. And so you have this gluttony of shit. Sorry, I ran on a ranting tangent, but and no one wants to say it because no one wants to hurt anybody's feelings. I'm not saying it to hurt anybody's feelings. I'm saying it because I guarantee you there are other fucking people who think that, but no one wants to fucking say it because we live in such a PC pussified age. It's not about me being angry. It's not about me being rude. It's about being almost a matter of fact that you get a lot of people, not all, but a lot of people who get their asses kissed. I always think about the Phantom Menace and the making of documentary when he had all of these things on the board with CGI shots, and this is CGI, this is CGI, and there'd be people like looking nervously. Or when they showed the little kids who'd be Anakin, and the other kid was better than Jake Lloyd. But because Lucas said, "No, that kid I like more," then everyone's like, "Yeah, yeah, that kid more. That he's trained more." Yeah, being trained as an actor is so fucking bad. I mean, I don't hate Phantom Menace like I used to, but still, still a shitload of problems. And I definitely like Twister more than the Star Wars movies. Yeah, I'd say any of the Star Wars movies. Because I like the original Star Wars films Star Wars Empire, Return of the Jedi. But I didn't grow up with those movies like everyone else did. Like, technically, I grew up with them, but they were just other movies I saw along with this Independence Day, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Van Damme, The Golden Child, Beverly Hills Cop. And those I went to more than Star Wars. I like Star Wars, but you know what? Everyone is all of a sudden a Star Wars guy. Me, I'm like, I like those original three. I like them. But if I sat down, I'd rather put on a movie like Twister. This is more my kind of movie. Nothing bad about those Star Wars movies. It's just a preference is a movie like this. And this is a moment where I think Mark Mancina's score does a really good job. Really good job. Actually, let me look at Mark Mancina, what else he's done. Yeah, he worked on Speed, which is a fantastic score. He worked on Bad Boys, first one, Michael Bay. That's a great score, too. Money Train, Training Day, Sally the Haunted Mansion. Wow. Shooter. Not much. Planes and Planes Fire and Rescue? That's fucking sad. Does it? Oh, that's fucking sad. He did Planes, the spin off to Cars? I mean, Mark Mancina, he's got to get paid. But man, can't someone give him better jobs than fucking Planes and Planes Fire and Rescue? The spin off to Cars? Like one of the shittier, like the shittiest Pixar franchise? Cars films suck. And there's quite a few Pixar films I like, but Cars suck. Just Larry the Cable Guy's in them, and he fucking sucks. I'm more of a Ron White guy. They call me Tater Salad. You fix a lot of stuff, but you can't fix stupid. Anyway. And that tree's gonna... Yep, there you go. Oh, no, you didn't. Fuck Mama Dorothy, now you fucking bitch. Oh, no, you didn't. Get the fuck out of there. The fucking tree's gonna go right up our ass. I mean, yeah, that CGI part of the tree earlier when it's coming out isn't the most held up, but you had an actual practical one go up and under the truck. There's that mix of physical stuff that's really there that helps sell the effect, in my opinion. And it's so sad nowadays. I have to keep saying "in my opinion" as if no shit, whose other opinion would it be? But and just their shit luck. A big old fucking oil tanker. Well, I mean a semi with oil tanker. I meant to fucking And look, it looks like a real semi truck or a model, whatever they used. Oh, petroleum. There you go. And this is another great. I think this is a really fun scene where just picked up, gonna slam right in front of them. Just shit luck. Really good explosion. Real fire. Lo and behold. Get that mix of reality there so it doesn't look like a fucking cartoon. Like so many movies more and more, even though they're live action, you might as well call them animated because they're more CGI than live action in the fucking movies. Sort of the last ditch, their last Dorothy. Sorry, now I'm getting into the film again. Of course, Cary Elwes, cocky, arrogant, but he's going to get his comeuppance. Feel bad for the other guy because the other guy was not that mean. He wasn't rude of a guy, but he was just unfortunately associated with an asshole. But here's how good, these are good people because, okay, yeah, they'll make it and they'll get all the kudos, but they try to warn them. They try to warn them, try to help them out, saying, hey, this'll, we don't want you guys hurt. We don't like you, but we don't want you hurt. And then Paxton, he tries to warn them like a good guy. He's not being an asshole. He's not being, insensitive about his life. He's like, hey, I got a view, and he could go right in front of you. And he even this guy says, he never put us in harm's way. But Cary Elwes, unfortunately, think about fortune and glory, and That greed gets him killed. And this other guy, little Bill would get. If you remember that Final Destination 2 when that log goes right into the guy's head, are you about to see the precursor to that coming up? He tries to warn him, but shit out of luck now. Well, it's not a log, but still. And they get picked up, and you are foobarred. You are fucked up beyond all recognition. Even their team, the own team is like, yeah, and I think for the most part the effects work, and some of them are a tad dated, but easy to forgive when it's 1996. I mean, over 20 years ago. 21 years ago, I should say. And it's a fucking tornado. It's going to be a big mass with debris. That looks fine. I don't know what more you could do with it. I've seen Into the Storm, and I'm like, yeah, it's still CGI effects of a tornado. It's not. And then mixed in with this practical stuff where you have the very fun, in a way, a car chase, just all the shit's being dropped in front of them. A lot of the stuff was very well done, well handled. And you have all this equipment dropped in front of them. And of course, I think we're going in. And they drive through a real fucking house. Look, this is a real truck driving through a real fucking house. Looks like that kid was a fan of the Oilers, or whoever. They drove through a real fucking house. That's great. Maybe we should get off this road. I don't understand. Yeah, I mean, it's a fun popcorn movie. What the fuck were people? No, I would say that if you don't like the film, fine. I was going to say if people don't like the film, maybe they gotta stick up their ass, but that's being rude. That's being overboard. I mean, hell, there are people. There are films I don't like that people would easily say the same thing. I don't understand why you like it. It's different strokes, different folks. I mean that. I know that, folks. And if you don't like the film, no, you don't have a stick up your ass. I'm just bullshitting with you. And believe me, considering the shit I've said almost 7 years on this channel, if I mean it, I'll say it. There's plenty of movies that people have been. There are many movies I like. I can name shitloads, and there are many movies I don't. It's just not everyone's going to have the same exact taste. That's just impossible. That's like anytime you read a review book, in a way, it's kind of pointless because just because they liked it doesn't mean you don't, and vice versa. And they've succeeded. Got the thing to work. His brand new truck is now a scrap heap, and they're excited for it. I think you should run. The fuck out of Dodge. Be careful, there's children with the corn in there, so they may kill you. That'd be hell of a twist, right? This movie was about twists just in a weird way. If for some reason at the end of the film, these children came out and just started killing people. And then this guy named Hugh Waltz Behind the Rose just came out. This giant groundhog looking motherfucker just came out and tried to kill everybody. So it made a really weird twist. Oh, maybe if M. Night Shyamalan directed Twister, that's what it would have been. But I like the bits here, the fence being picked up by the Twister. I thought that was really cool. And into the ending that so many people make fun of, but I was never bothered by it. I'm sorry. I'm liking the film enough that I can deal with it. I can handle it, which we'll get to. Just from the barn from Chainsaw Massacre. I think even they don't. Who are these people? Like the worst place you can be. Just all this shit trying to stab them, going through the windows. I've seen fucking movies nowadays that have CGI just as big budget movies that have CGI just as well as this. Gotta dodge fucking barns. I gotta dodge fucking looks like combines or whatever you call that equipment. I guess there was a TV movie also called Storm Chasers: Revenge of the Twisters. Night of the Twisters, 1996. Nebraska town ravaged by a storm, dropping furious tornadoes. And the one where Bruce Campbell was a 1996 made-for-TV movie. Yeah, this is the moment that people pick on a lot. Come on, they're just holding on to these pipes and I don't know, I've never been in the middle of a tornado, so I wouldn't fucking know. Yeah, this is the moment here. Because Helen Hunt and Bill Paxton are holding on to this thing while they're in the middle of this tornado in this harness. I've never been in the middle of a tornado like this, so until I do, if I ever am in the middle of a tornado, and if I hold on, if I can't hold on and I get thrown up, then I'll admit I was wrong. But I like it. I think it's a good moment in the movie. I think it's a good way to end the film. But again, when the day comes, I'm in the middle of an F5 tornado and I'm holding on, and it pulls me up, I'll admit I was wrong. Till the day comes, who knows? I don't know, weird shit happens with tornadoes, I mean, there are people. Okay, here's the thing. You hear stories where a person will be lifted up, or things, animals, will be lifted up and then lifted back down, and they're perfectly fine. Weird things happen. Just saying. Maybe because I've enjoyed the rest of the film, that I can go on a leap of faith at the end of the movie because I've been having fun with the rest of it. Maybe because I don't know shit about tornadoes, which is I don't know shit about space. I don't know shit about a lot of things. So if it's bullshit, I'm more liable to buy into it because I'm not that knowledgeable in it. Just because tornadoes are around me doesn't mean I look into it and do research. Because I'm not writing a fucking project. I'm just watching a movie. But yeah, it just never bothered me as much as it did others. Sorry. I buy that Molen more than fucking Harrison Ford dying from Kylo Ren or fucking assholes saying I want BET and Suicide Squad or I don't know why I'm picking on those. I guess I'm thinking about movies that a lot of people praise or defend, and they're movies I don't like. So people would do opposite, use examples of movies that you don't like. It's just how it is. Because I can only speak for myself. That's the thing. I'm not going to speak for 50 other people. I can only speak for myself. I think there are people who try to think as if they are speaking for a majority when at the end of the day, you're only speaking for yourself. And yeah, here we get to the ending where nice wide shot. Wish they would do a lot back in the day. You don't see a lot of wide shots now. I mean, Predator 2, you have a wide shot. End of a lot of Dirty Harry films, and end of this film, that sort of wide pullback shot. And great set. Uh, they really made the area look devastated by this tornado. They look pretty damn good. Rest in peace, Bill Paxton. Always definitely going to miss the guy. I know I've said that before, but it bears repeating. Love this, love the song Van Halen, "Humans Being," but I think Mark Mancina did a really good job on the score as well. Fits the film great. I love what the director did with the end credits, showing these shots of real clouds and real storms. I think it's a nice, cool way to ease us out of the picture. Again, with some really good music. I mean, the film itself, I mean, what more can I say that I've been blabbing on, repeating ad nauseum for an hour and almost 50 minutes or so? I think it's a very fun movie. It's consistently entertaining. I think you have a group of characters that have energy and personality and life, like Philip Seymour Hoffman and Alan Ruck, and I think Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt are great as the leads. I think they have chemistry with each other. I think they both have charm and personality. Good score, good songs like Van Halen's "Humans Being." I think the special effects worked fine for the time period. Consistent action sequences, a lot of good practical work put in there as well. Good cast, and just a fun movie, a fun, entertaining film. Never got bored, went at a very good pace. And so as we're going through the credits, just I'll end it when we're at the end. That seemed redundant. I'll end at the end. Just looking through the credits, anything that catches my eye. It's weird when I look at credits. I know this is going to be another stupid notion, but I always wonder Like, whatever happened to standby painter Mark Hudson? Whatever happened to him? Or where's he at today? Is he still working? Camera car drivers Leo Landa and Bill Gilbert. Or the catering service 4 stars. Are they still working? Alexander Witt, the second unit DP. I think that's the guy that directed Resident Evil Apocalypse, the second Resident Evil movie. I could be wrong. ADR, that's pretty much, they go back and they try to mimic their dialogues. And so if you want to make the dialogue more crystal clear because maybe they're shooting it and there's too much noise, too much background noise, so forth. Cast. Helen Hunt got top billing, then Bill Paxton. Cary Elwes, Phil Seymour Hoffman, another guy, may he rest in peace. Sean Whalen, that's who it was. Sanders. He was in The People Under the Stairs as the guy who had his tongue cut off. That's who that was. Jake Busey is mobile lab technician. That's like the son of Gary Busey, and barely even remember him in this movie. And Bill Young's driving team. ILM, of course. Anyone who knows movies knows Industrial Light and Magic. They do some great work. Like, if you want to get CGI, those are the guys that get ILM. I mean, I down a lot on CGI, but when it's good, I'll admit it. ILM does a good job on a lot of stuff. I hate that. I think the reason I down on CGI so much is that almost seems like the leading thing that almost killing practical effects. But it's not it itself. There's a demand for it because less people want to utilize practical effects, and that's just what I prefer more. And the easy scapegoat is just to blame it on CGI. But I know there's more to it than that. I know it's more complicated than that. It's just the easy scapegoat to spit out. American Humane Association, which I think was created because of that fucking Heaven's Gate movie where the fucking director was an idiot and got like horses and chickens and such killed. He's a fucking moron. Eric Clapton, Stevie Nicks, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Shania Twain, Deep Purple. Forgot about Voodoo Dolls. A long way down. Of course, Humans Being, performed by Van Halen. Edward Van Halen, I should say. Sammy Hagar. Respect the Wind. Edward and Alex Van Halen. I really enjoyed that bit of music as well. Technicolor. Nice sunset to end the film. That's it. So thanks for listening. Take care. And we'll see you on the next video. Later as we end on the Amblin Entertainment with the ET. See you later.